So for years, creators have been trying to crack this code, right? The YouTube algorithm. We've all treated it like this big, mysterious black box. But what if I told you the game has completely changed? Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and show you the new rules for how a video actually finds its audience.
Does this feel a little too familiar? I mean, you pour your heart and soul into a video, hours, maybe days, of editing, scripting, filming. You're so proud of it. You hit publish and then crickets. It just flatlines with like 100 views. It is one of the most soul-crushing feelings for any creator out there.
But here's the thing, and this is so important to understand. It's probably not because your content is bad. It's because the strategies that worked a few years ago they're obsolete now. You're playing a game, but the rules have fundamentally shifted right under your feet.
Okay, so let's start by just tearing down the single biggest myth that holds creators back. Seriously, once you grasp this one idea, it changes everything about how you look at your channel's growth. Think about it. There's no person at YouTube headquarters with a big red button that says promote this creator. The algorithm doesn't push your content. It's a purely reactive system. All it does is watch how real people, real viewers, respond to your video, and then it just amplifies that reaction. That's it. No emotion, no mercy, and definitely no favoritism. So what really happens in those first few moments after you hit publish? Well, your video doesn't just go out to all your subscribers. Nope. Instead, it enters this highly structured, super critical testing phase that basically determines its fate within the first few hours. And the process is incredibly systematic. First, the system analyzes all your video's metadata. The title, the description, even the transcript, just to figure out what your video is about. Then it serves it up to a tiny test audience to see if they bite. And based only on how they react, the algorithm makes a simple, cold decision. Do we expand this video's reach, or do we stop it dead in its tracks? And just look at the scale here. This is the wild part. We're not talking about thousands of people. Your video's entire future can be decided by the reactions of as few as 10 to 100 viewers. This little group, your seed audience, is usually a mix of your subscribers and people who've watched similar stuff. They provide the first and, honestly, the most critical signal. So, if that seed audience's reaction is everything, what is YouTube actually measuring? Well, while they track thousands of different signals, it all really boils down to two universal metrics. These two things tell the algorithm whether your video is a winner or a dud. First up is click-through rate, or CTR. This is the gatekeeper. It's simple. If people don't click on your title and thumbnail, absolutely nothing else matters. But the second, and you could argue more important metric, is audience retention. This is the real algorithm. It answers the question, okay, they came in the door, but did they actually stay for the party? Now, you're probably wondering, what's a good CTR? Well, it can vary by niche, but as a general rule, anything in that 2 to 5% range is pretty average. But the moment you start hitting 7% or higher, whoa, you're sending a really powerful signal to YouTube that your topic and your packaging are super compelling. That's the first big green light your video needs to get. And then there's the retention gauntlet. This is where most videos just die within the first 30 seconds. If your hook doesn't immediately confirm that you're going to deliver on the promise you made in the title, viewers are gone. They're just a click away from something else. They don't wait anymore. You have to prove the value right up front and then keep delivering on that payoff. Okay, so now we get the mechanics, right? So how do we actually turn this into a real strategy? Well, the goal is to stop fighting the algorithm and start working with it, to basically train it to understand exactly who your content is for. And this right here, this table sums up the fundamental shift. The old game was all about search and keywords, right? Just hoping someone would type in your exact topic. The new game is played on the homepage and in the suggested feed. It's not about being found anymore. It's about being chosen when YouTube puts you right next to a viewer's favorite creators. And the currency for getting chosen? It's retention. Success in this new world really comes down to these three pillars. You need to serve a predictable audience so the algorithm knows exactly who to test your videos on. You need to deliver a consistent type of value, whether that's learning something or just being entertained. And you have to be absolutely obsessed with optimizing every single video for retention. And here's a little something that might bring you some peace of mind. YouTube doesn't grow videos smoothly, it grows them in batches. It'll test your video, then it'll pause, analyze the data, and then maybe it'll expand to a new, larger batch. This is why your views so often flatline and then suddenly spike out of nowhere.
It's not random, it's just the system doing its thing.
All right, finally, let's talk about the most important part of this whole equation, your mindsets. Because look, understanding the algorithm is one thing, but surviving the emotional roller coaster of being a creator, that's a whole different ballgame.
So let's say the algorithm runs a test. It shows your video to 1,000 people. You see that initial little spike in the analytics and you get your hopes up. You think, this is it, this is the one.
And then nothing. The views just stop. The impressions dry up, and it feels like total rejection. You're just left there staring at the screen wondering, what did I do wrong?
But here's the crucial reframe, that silence is not failure. It's the algorithm processing the data from its last test. A lot of creators call this the valley of death, that quiet period where you get no clear signals, and honestly, it's often the hardest part of this whole journey.
The creators who ultimately make it, the ones who succeed, are the ones who can just endure those waiting periods. They use that silence to get to work on the next video, to study what worked and what didn't, and to just keep improving, driven by something way deeper than just the analytics. So ultimately, if you really want to succeed on YouTube today, you've got to stop asking how to beat a machine. The algorithm's only goal is to find the right video for the right viewer at the right time. That's its entire job. So if you change your focus to truly serving a specific audience and just making videos they genuinely love to watch, the algorithm won't be your enemy. It'll become your single greatest ally.